Have you ever noticed that you keep dating the same person just with a different face? If you've ever looked at your relationship history and thought, why does this keep happening to me? If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a loop, attracting the same toxic patterns over and over again, then you need to hear this. Today we are talking about why you keep attracting toxic people and, more importantly, how to break this cycle once and for all. In this video, I am going to reveal the childhood pattern that's secretly controlling your adult relationships. I'll show you the boundary setting practice that stops toxic people in their tracks. And I'll give you the compatibility framework that helps you identify red flags before you're emotionally invested. But here's the truth that most relationship advice won't tell you. The problem isn't that you're unlucky in love. The problem isn't that all the good ones are taken. The problem is that you're unconsciously recreating a familiar pattern from your past. And once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. Your entire relationship history will suddenly make perfect sense. I've worked with hundreds of people stuck in this cycle, and the framework I'm sharing today has helped them break free from toxic patterns and finally attract healthy, fulfilling relationships. So let's dive in. Let me tell you about Maya. She's 32 years old and she's dated 5 serious partners. And every single one of them was emotionally unavailable. The first guy was distant and cold. The second was a workaholic who never had time for her. The third was charming but disappeared for days without explanation. The fourth was not ready for commitment. The fifth was still hung up on his ex. Different people, different faces, different jobs and backgrounds, but the exact same pattern: emotionally unavailable. Maya thought she was just unlucky. She thought she was bad at picking partners. But then she started therapy. And her therapist asked her one question that changed everything. Tell me about your relationship with your father. Maya's father was a successful businessman, respected in the community, good provider. But emotionally, he was a ghost. He was physically present but emotionally absent. He never asked about her feelings, never showed affection, never really saw her. And suddenly, Maya understood. She wasn't attracting emotionally unavailable men by accident. She was attracted to them because they felt like home. We don't attract what we want. We attract what feels familiar. Your childhood relationships, especially with your parents, create a blueprint for what love feels like to you. And as an adult, you unconsciously seek out that same feeling, even if it's toxic. Here's how to identify your pattern. Step 1. List your past relationships. Write down your last 3 to 5 significant relationships or friendships that ended badly. Step 2. Identify the common pattern. What trait did they all share? Were they all controlling, emotionally unavailable, critical, narcissistic, unreliable? Find the thread. Step 3. Connect it to childhood. Who in your childhood had that same trait? Usually it's a parent, but it could be a sibling, caregiver, or other significant figure. Step 4. Understand the unconscious logic your child brain learned. This is what love feels like. So now, when you meet someone with that same trait, your unconscious says, "This feels like love," even though your conscious mind knows it's toxic. The journaling exercise. Complete these sentences. In my childhood, love felt like. To get attention or affection, I had to. I learned that relationships are. The pattern I keep repeating is. This isn't about blaming your parents. This is about understanding why you're attracted to what you're attracted to. Because once you see the pattern, you can choose differently. You can recognize that familiar feeling and say, "This isn't love. This is just familiar." But here's what nobody tells you about toxic people. They don't just randomly appear in your life. You're actually inviting them in. Meet Rahul. Nice guy. Really nice guy. The kind of person who would give you the shirt off his back. He prided himself on being helpful, accommodating, understanding. But his life was full of toxic people. His friend borrowed money and never paid it back. His colleague dumped work on him constantly. His girlfriend criticized him daily, but he didn't want to rock the boat. One day, his therapist said something that shocked him. "Rahul, you don't have a toxic people problem. You have a boundary problem." Rahul was confused. He thought boundaries were mean. He thought boundaries were selfish. He thought being a good person meant being accommodating. But here's what he learned. Toxic people are like water. They flow into whatever space is available. And Rahul had no boundaries. He was a completely open space. So toxic people flooded in. Toxic people don't respect boundaries. They test for them. They're constantly pushing to see what they can get away with. And if you don't have clear boundaries, they'll take everything. Not because they're evil, but because you're allowing it. The 3 types of boundaries. 1. Physical boundaries. Your time, your space, your body. Example, I don't answer work calls after 7 p.m. I need 30 minutes alone when I get home. 2. Emotional boundaries. Your feelings, your energy, your mental health. Example, I don't discuss my relationship with people who criticize my partner. I won't engage in conversations that drain me. 3. Material boundaries. Your money, your possessions, your resources. Example, I don't lend money to friends. I don't let people borrow my car. The boundary test. Healthy people respect boundaries. Toxic people get angry when you set boundaries. Try to guilt you. I thought we were friends. Test the boundary repeatedly. Make you feel bad for having needs. Setting boundaries doesn't make you mean. It makes you healthy. And here's the beautiful part. When you set strong boundaries, toxic people naturally filter themselves out of your life. They can't survive in an environment where they can't manipulate, control, or take advantage. Your boundaries become your protection. But even when you know your patterns and you've set boundaries, there's still one trap that catches almost everyone. Red flag blindness. Priya met someone new. Let's call him Arjun. And Arjun was amazing. Charming, attentive, said all the right things. He love-bombed her with attention and affection. Her friends noticed red flags immediately. He moved too fast. He was jealous of her male friends. He had a bad relationship with his family. He talked badly about all his exes. He was inconsistent, hot and cold. But Priya didn't see any of it. Or rather, she saw it but explained it away. He's just passionate. He's just excited about us. His family doesn't understand him. His exes were crazy. He's just busy. 6 months later, Priya was in a toxic relationship, and she couldn't understand how she missed all the signs. When you're attracted to someone, your brain literally turns off its threat detection system. The chemicals of attraction, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, they make you see what you want to see, not what's actually there. This is why everyone else can see the red flags except you. The non-negotiable red flags. Run immediately. 1. Any form of abuse. Physical, emotional, verbal, financial. 2. Lack of accountability. Never apologizes, always blames others. 3. Pathological lying. Consistent dishonesty about big or small things. 4. Controlling behavior. Isolates you, monitors you, restricts you. 5. Addiction issues. Unwilling to address or get help. The yellow flags. Proceed with caution. 1. Bad mouths all exes. If everyone else was the problem, they're the problem. 2. Love bombing. Too much too soon is manipulation, not love. 3. Inconsistent behavior. Hot and cold. Present then distant. 4. Poor boundaries with others. If they don't respect others' boundaries, they won't respect yours. 5. Victim mentality. Nothing is ever their fault. The red flag reality check exercise. The friend test. Imagine your best friend is dating someone with these exact behaviors. What would you tell them? Now take your own advice. Exercise the pattern check. Does this person remind you of anyone from your past? If yes, that's not a coincidence. That's your pattern repeating. Exercise the gut check. Ignore what they say. How do you feel around them? Anxious? Walking on eggshells? Constantly confused? Your gut knows. The 90-day rule. Don't make any major commitments, moving in, saying I love you, meeting family, until you've known someone for at least 90 days. Toxic people can't maintain the mask that long. Red flags are information. They are your intuition trying to protect you. But you have to be willing to see them. And more importantly, you have to be willing to walk away when you see them. Because a red flag ignored becomes a red flag accepted. And a red flag accepted becomes your new normal. Now here's the part that most people don't want to hear. But it's the most important part of all. After years of toxic relationships, Ananya finally asked herself the hard question. Why do I keep accepting this? She had done the work. She understood her childhood patterns. She had set boundaries. She could spot red flags. But she still kept ending up in toxic situations. And then she realized something that changed everything. She was treating herself the way toxic people treated her. She criticized herself constantly. She ignored her own needs. She pushed herself past her limits. She didn't respect her own boundaries. She accepted treatment from herself that she would never accept from anyone else. She was the first toxic person in her own life. You will never attract better than what you believe you deserve. If you don't love yourself, you'll accept people who don't love you. If you don't respect yourself, you'll accept people who don't respect you. Your external relationships are a mirror of your internal relationship with yourself. The self-relationship audit. Ask yourself, would I treat a friend the way I treat myself? Would I accept from a friend what I accept from myself? Do I speak to myself with kindness or criticism? Do I prioritize my needs or always put them last? The self-love daily practice. Morning, the affirmation. Look in the mirror and say, I am worthy of love, respect and kindness. I will not accept less than I deserve. Throughout the day, the boundary check. Before saying yes to anything, ask, is this honoring my needs or abandoning them? Evening, the gratitude practice. Write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself. Not what you did, but who you are. The non-negotiables list. Write down your absolute non-negotiables in relationships. How you will be spoken to. How your time will be respected. How your boundaries will be honored. How conflicts will be handled. How love will be shown. Then commit. I will not compromise on these, no matter how lonely I feel. Here's the truth. You can't hate yourself into a healthy relationship. You can't criticize yourself into being lovable. You can't abandon yourself and expect others not to abandon you. The relationship you have with yourself sets the standard for every other relationship in your life. Fix that one first and everything else will follow. Let's bring this all together. You keep attracting toxic people because of 4 main reasons. You're unconsciously recreating childhood patterns that feel familiar. You don't have strong boundaries, so toxic people flood into the available space. You're experiencing red flag blindness because attraction turns off your threat detection. And most importantly, you're not loving yourself enough to demand better. But here's what I want you to really understand. Toxic people aren't your destiny. They're your teachers. They're showing you where you need to heal, where you need boundaries, where you need to love yourself more. Every toxic person in your life is pointing to a wound that needs attention. So here's what I want you to do. Leave a comment and tell me, which of these 4 points hit you the hardest? Was it the childhood blueprint, the boundary vacuum, the red flag blindness, or the self-love solution? Because your answer will help you know where to start your healing journey. And if you're thinking, okay, I see the patterns, but how do I actually heal from this? I made a video specifically about that. It's called How to Heal Your Attachment Style and Finally Have Healthy Relationships. I'll link it right here. Because seeing the pattern is step 1. Healing it, that's step 2. Thanks for watching. Remember, you deserve relationships that feel like peace, not chaos. Don't settle for familiar when you can have fulfilling.
In continuation of the age-old tradition of the wisdom of India, to join the Alchemy program conducted by Guru Mithreshiva, kindly register or call 96559 92559. Visit our website www.matangifoundation.org. Guru Mithreshiva's Alchemy classes are conducted in Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, Trichy, Salem, Pondicherry, Bengaluru and London.